Hello and good evening. I'm Melisa Idris. Welcome to Consider This. This is the show where we want you to consider and then reconsider what you know of the news of the day. The United Nations has repeatedly warned that Sudan has become the world's largest displacement crisis, with more than 10 million people uprooted across the country. But it took the horrific massacre in El-Fasher last month to finally draw attention to a war that the world has forgotten. Why has the world looked away from Sudan, and what might change if global attention finally turned towards its people? Joining me on the show today is His Excellency Hassan Abdelsalam Omer, who is the ambassador of the Republic of Sudan to Malaysia. Ambassador Hassan, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining me today. So the war in Sudan has been ongoing since April 2023, so now in its third year. Can you maybe begin our conversation today describing the situation on the ground for the ordinary Sudanese?
Thank you very much for having me. And actually the situation, and I will start with the El-Fasher, because this is the last which attract the attention of the world to the disasters unfolding in Sudan, which has been going on for quite, as you said, 3 years right now, and resulted in the widest displacement humanitarian disaster in the world. But what happened in the El-Fasher was completely different. It moved everything to a new stage, because it was humanitarian disasters and a catastrophe by all means, crime against citizens and the innocent children. And it is a stain on the conscience of the world. El-Fasher has been in a siege for almost 1 year and a half, for almost 500 days, where 250,000 of the citizens of the El-Fasher were trapped without food, without medicine, and without a safe passage to flee the daily shelling by the RSF and bombardments. And this is continue, and on when the RSF entered the city, it has the situation changed. It is from a siege or a besieged city into a slaughter city. In one day, there was about 1,500 that has been killed in El-Fasher. Hospitals, and one of the darkest crime was the attack on the maternity hospital of Saudi Maternity Hospital, where 550 patient, mother, newborn, medical workers had been killed in a cold blood. This pattern is not new, and when you ask me about what is happening in Sudan in general since the war, this has been the situation. It is the same crimes that have been committed in different parts of Sudan, but what distinguishes what happened in El-Fasher is the scale, and the scale of the atrocity and the grossing. Even they themselves were not shying of their crime. They are boosting by taking and recording while they're killing women and children and digging mass graves. So the humanitarian situation is really appalling right now in El-Fasher, even after there is there is no hospitals, completely out of work, medication. People are at the brink of starvation according to the World Food Program. And rape, women are raped, family are killed while they're trying to escape the city to a more safer. Now we have large refugee camps in areas next near to the El-Fasher, like Tawila, and in Dabba, in the northern part of Sudan, and some areas in Kordofan.
So no aid is able to go into the RSF-controlled areas at all?
That's right, because at the beginning, while they were besieging the city, they used starvation and preventing the aid from entering the El-Fasher. And they're using starvation as a weapon of the war. And Sudan government had accepted the proposal from the United Nations Secretary General of truce for 3 days to enter food for the besieged El-Fasher. This is in June, I remember. But the RSF refused to that and continue preventing or allowing unhindered assistance, and at the same time looting. This is not looting and making it difficult for its worker.
Does your government fully understand what happened in El-Fasher, or are the investigations still ongoing? I'm just wondering, after 500 or so days of intense conflict of violence there, what triggered the horrific massacre that happened late last month?
Part of it was the heroic stand of the El-Fasher people. They defended their city heroically for almost 500 days.
Yeah.
And despite the decision of the United Nations and 2736, if I remember very well, of lifting the siege, still the RSF refused. And they built a pyramid around the city, and they started preventing anybody, whoever tried to get out of this massacre. They killed them, and mass graves has been documented, and mass killing, and all this has been documented through witnesses and by satellite imagery.
We all saw the Google image of blood on the ground. We could see.
That's right.
Yeah.
So the situation is really, it's really a big heinous crime, what committed, and this was happening in front of the eyes of the world, the view of the world. This is not something unpredictable. It is not something unpreventable, but it happened, and it was because of the inaction of the international community.
Right. So the war in Sudan has often been portrayed as a conflict between two warring generals. I mean, most news headlines frame it as a civil war. How do you see it? Do you accept that label, that description of what is happening in Sudan?
Actually, that's a very simplistic portrayal, and this is maybe part of why the international media really had ignored what is going on. This is one element. That is, it is a situation in the reason behind this was very complex. And some of the media outlets, they want the simple lines. Like, for example, it has been always a question why Sudan war has been ignored, comparing to what happened in Ukraine and Gaza. And things like that. Actually, the war in Sudan broke out maybe a few months after what happened in Ukraine and in Gaza. But at the same, that means it's to some extent that was overshadowed. But another reason, because Sudan was not in the center of the Western interest. It is not. There is no NATO. There is no European or American soldier fighting in that region. And after all, it is Africa, as always has been in the periphery of international media, and this is maybe one of the reasons. So the portrayal of this, what's happening in Sudan as being a struggle between two generals, or it is a civil war, it is just a very simplistic, because it ignores what happened exactly, and it ignores the history of the RSF, and this has been going on, and it also ignores the regional agenda, an international agenda in dividing Sudan and weakening the country to appropriate its resources. And we always have to look in what's happening in Sudan in the wider context. We have to relate it to what is happening in Gaza. We have to relate it to what's happening in Libya. We have to relate it to what's happening in Yemen. We have to relate it to what's happening in Syria, and to ask ourselves a question: why this is happening? Well, right now, there is an attempt to replicate the Libyan example. This is may give you an idea why they insisted to take over El-Fasher at that time, because by taking El-Fasher, that means it gave control to the RSF in the whole Darfur region. And that means, and now they already declared what they call the parallel government. And this has been condemned by all, by the UN, by African Union, and by all neighboring countries. That is, they do not want to have this. But again, as I can see it, and everybody can see it, this is an attempt to replicate the same Libyan model of the two government. One state, no peace, one and two government. The same thing what is happening in our brothers in Yemen. Two states and no peace and a continuous instability in the countries. This need to be repeated in Sudan. And but we as Sudanese people will stand firm against this, because what we are facing right now in Sudan and what is in stake is really our existence, our sovereignty, our dignity.
Ambassador, who stands to benefit from a divided Sudan, a weakened Sudan?
There is a lot. Just look at who is benefiting from dividing Libya, look who's benefiting from dividing Yemen, who's benefiting from...
Are we not naming any names?
Right now, the main backers of the RSF, and which Sudan repeatedly mentioned, was the United Arab Emirates, unfortunately. And we lodged a number of complaints. We had already complained about this in the UN.
To the UN? Okay.
And we had it lodged to the International Justice, Court of Justice. Okay. And we will continue our legal fight to take their perpetrators and hold them accountable. Okay. But definitely the United Arab Emirates, though they have their own agenda in Sudan, they're also doing it as a proxy to other interests. So we need to ask ourselves, who is behind the Abraham project?
Of course, yeah. So who stands to benefit, definitely? So the UAE has rejected those accusations, although I do note that an expert panel appointed by the UN Security Council said that they were credible last year.
That's true. In the first report of the panel, it's clearly documented evidence, and also the same thing, many others sources, credible sources, whether intelligence or investigative journalists, like what's in the Wall Street Journal, The Guardian, Le Monde, all of them documented the travels and the cargoes that is shipped from different part of the world to airport in Chad, and the activities and the involvement of the United Arab Emirates, even in recruiting mercenary from all over the world, from Colombia. The president of Colombia, he himself came out and apologized for Sudanese people for the involvement and promise of investigation.
Ambassador, how does that complicate the conflict if there is indeed foreign intervention or foreign interference into the war in Sudan? How does it complicate matters in achieving maybe peace? Because I understand there was a ceasefire that was agreed to last week by the RSF, and it was a proposal by the US and some Arab partners. So does it complicate matters? How do we think this through? If in fact there is foreign involvement, yet they are the ones calling for a ceasefire or negotiating a ceasefire. Talk to me about the dynamics at play here.
Thank you very much for this question. I think it is very important because it gives me the chance to express and explain the Sudan position as far as the Quad. Yeah, I think you are referring to the Quad, which is the United States, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and United Arab Emirates. Actually, Sudan has been always open for mediations and for reaching a lasting base that's end this ugly war in Sudan. But definitely we have a number of reservations, and we are reluctant to accept the current or this proposal of truce in its current form for a number of reasons. First of all, we believe that is the involvement of the United Arab Emirates or being a member of the Quad compromise the process, because it is partial and it is well-known supporter and backers of the RSF. So we believe the United Arab Emirates, it is a part of the problem and cannot be part of the solution. Secondly, we already accepted, we have a long history since Jeddah Declaration. We accepted truce during more than 6 times, accepted the proposed truce within the framework of Jeddah Declaration and Jeddah Forum, but always has been violated by the RSF. So there is no trust. We do not trust that the RSF will honor any agreement such that like that, especially if there is no mechanisms clearly put in the ground to monitor and to make sure that there will be no violation to this. Secondly, Sudan government clearly stated that any truce must include the withdrawal of the RSF from civil objects, civil sites, evacuate civilian homes, and without that, it's not going to be a real truce. On the opposite, we are really worried that is any agreement, especially right now after the takeover of the El-Fasher, is going to entrench the division of the country and will give the RSF legitimize their occupations and will give them a break to refuel and to rebuild and to regroup and to restart again their attacks. We believe that this is not acceptable at all. Any truce, it has to be conditional. It has to address the aspiration of the Sudanese people in transformation and continuing the democratic transformation, and it has to be based on the political map that is proposed by Sudan government, which include comprehensive dialogue, national dialogue, that include all Sudanese political parties to decide the futures of the country. For Sudanese, after all these crimes and atrocities, they need any peace. It has to hold the RSF accountable for their crime. Without that, without justice, I think this is not going. We are not going to reach to final and lasting peace. This generally, in brief, what our reservation as far as the timing is really something that we need to consider, because we proposed and we accepted many truce, humanitarian truce, but it has been rejected, refused, and now after the RSF took El-Fasher.
So you think the timing is suspect here?
Very. It has to be looked at very cautiously.
Okay. So where do we go from here? Is there a path forward for peace, Ambassador? Recently, the Malaysian government said that it was considering calls for Malaysia to play a mediating role in peace efforts in Sudan. I'm just wondering whether you think Malaysia could realistically help. And many people were wondering, why would Malaysia step in? But apparently Malaysia has significant investments and interests in your country. So it has become somewhat of a national interest for us as well. What is Sudan's view of Malaysia's potential role in this?
Actually, as I said, and in my answer about how the involvement of United Arab Emirates in the peace mediation is compromising the situation, the answer in that part, because we believe Malaysia has no ulterior motives in Sudan and it is neutral. Just like as we welcome Qatar, as we welcome Turkey, as we definitely welcome Malaysia to be part of any principled peace mediation in Sudan. And we believe that is like we have, actually let me say that, it's like what is happening right now in Sudan is really it's carry many messages, and it is a test to our shared value as a Muslim Ummah, as a world, for all those peace-loving nation and individual around the world. It tests our shared value as far as compassion, as far as justice, as far as peace,
our humanity,
our humanity. And we look to Malaysia as a partner. We are not looking for a pity, really, even from our brothers here in Malaysia. We are looking for partnership, for solidarity, as being part of one human society, and at the same time as part of the Islamic Ummah. So solidarity is very important. We look for you guys to help us rebuilding our country. We want Malaysia to help us build our hospital. Right. We want our husband from Malaysia to learn from the Malaysian model of tolerance, of living together as three almost nations, living in one country, in one peace and in harmony. All that's what we learn. We already have, I need to mention this, we have 5,500 students. We want you to train our students. We want them, because this is a human resource, that is, we are looking for them to rebuild the country when things get back to normal.
Right.
So,
Ambassador, you mentioned wanting solidarity with the world. Does Sudan feel that the international community has abandoned it?
Well, I can tell you, we are standing alone, and we get used to this. This is not something new. This is a moral failure, and you can see it in the pledge of the international community. The need for relief, maybe like last time it was about almost like 4 trillion or something like that. What has been subscribed or pledged was far less than what is needed. You mentioned already the media coverage. There is no coverage to what is happening in Sudan. I mean, like, it is not just because it is happening in Africa that is make it less, or the child killed in Kyiv or in Gaza is different from a child killed in El-Fasher. But this is our reality. We need some time really to look for ourselves, for our community, for people who share the same values, look for their support. Still, we are counting on the international community to wake up and to see what is going on in Sudan.
So, in the minute or two that I have left, Ambassador, for the people who do not understand the scale of this war and its impact, what would you like our audience tonight to know about Sudan, and what is at stake if we don't pay attention?
Let us start by what is at stake for us as the Sudanese. What is for stake for us as Sudanese is the very existence of a nation, very existence of a country, and it is sovereignty, and it is integrity, and integrity of its territorial. Sudan used to be one of the largest countries in Africa. It's a long history, from Kushite to Nubian to the modern history. We had played a large and big role in our continent. In the war against Israel, Sudanese contributed a lot. They are open their airport and we become an extension, strategic extension to our brothers in Egypt. Khartoum was famous for its 3 no's: no compromise, no reconcile, no agreement.
That's right.
We supported the struggle of our brother in South Africa against apartheid. I can say a long list of what is Sudan at stake, and it is really painful to find that we are fighting right now our fight alone. What is at stake for the whole world is the threat to peace. What is happening in Sudan is definitely going to have its impacts on the whole region. It's going to impact, Sudan is surrounded by almost 6-7 countries, and definitely this is going to spill over. to our neighboring country and already flamed. Like if you look at Central Africa, Chad, Ethiopia, all this region, and Libya, all this region is already inflamed. Yes. And what is happening in Sudan is definitely, if not contained, it's going to affect the whole region and definitely the international peace. It's going to affect international trade. And the Red Sea is a very important seaway for the international trade, and definitely it is part of the reason why even some other countries, they have their interest in and greed in what is Sudan. Yeah. So there is a lot in stake. There is a stake for us as Sudanese and Malaysian who peace-loving, and it is the same value that is Malaysia fought for, supporting other people to achieve peace in their country. Lastly, recently, what is Malaysia did as far as brokering the peace in Cambodia and Thailand. Yes. We want this. This is what we know Malaysian, and this is what Malaysians stand for. Right.
Ambassador, thank you for your time. Thank you for coming on the show and telling us more about what's happening back home for you.
Thank you very much for shedding a light and on what is happening in Sudan. And thank you for having me.
That's all the time we have for you on this episode of Consider This. I'm Melisa Idris, signing off for the evening. Thank you so much for watching, and good night.